Clarence, so is that the Fanning co-husband?
Yeah.
Husband?
Yeah, he knew as what?
I think Clarence Weaver, Johnny Weaver.
Oh yeah, Johnny.
Yes.
Yeah. Johnny.
Because
Johnny.
I follow your trend, so someone can use that to say, the error.
Yeah, Johnny
So it was
Weaver.
Johnny Weaver. Johnny used to be on at LU also.
Yeah.
Kwayan Weaver was a diplomat.
Okay, Air Liberia, Johnny Weaver.
Yes, okay. I would like to say to you, thank you very much for the information given. And anyone listening, to those in the Atari shop who I said were not around, to the new generation of refugees who are returning, to the ex-combatants, and to those who remember, I want to say to you, thank you for giving us details. And what is interesting, you gave us lead for evidence.
Yes, ma'am.
And I would like to say to those, while we can see what they call institutional memory and individual memory, if you were not around and had not lived and had not been in the 2-week party, the Moja, the PRC, Justice Ministry,
yeah,
and all on those different organizations and meetings, we would not have known such stories. So I think that we should learn lessons that we should, when people former should not be forgotten, but that we can build and live off our institutional memory. So those institutions, those organizations, and the individuals who still around, who played a part of giving public and private service to this country, we should look at them and appreciate them instead of trying to make them feel that they did a disservice to this country. As a lawyer, when you're in a case and someone gave testimony, they're on a direct, and there's nothing to lead them on, you leave them.
yes,
And look for the witnesses to come to substantiate. Thank you very much for participating in the peace process of this country, confronting a difficult past for a better future.
Thank you, madam.
Thank you very much, Honorable Bowier, for your testimony. Your testimony have thrown a lot of light on our past obtaining from 1970 onward. I have a few questions. You talk about the University of Liberia incidents, and then you mention in your testimony that Minister Allison was there and you saw him loading the gun along with the Chief of Staff. Reloading the gun along with the Chief of Staff. As public relation officer, can you tell us what happened to the student? Did anyone die during that episode?
I explained to you that on the day of the assault on the university, Minister Alhaji Kroma and I were in his office listening to the radio. When the head of state of Liberia, Samuel Doe, gave the order, Mr. Defense Minister, Mr. Chief of Staff, you move over there and move them from that campus. Then he said, move or be removed. And they got out of there. What I explained to you was what I saw on the video that was made of the university incident. I have just turned over to your co-chairperson about 15 minutes ago for transmission to your chairperson the name of the individual who videotaped the whole incident and where he works. He will be able to tell you what happened. I went to the university the day after the incident. That is when I insisted that Mr. Krumah should inform the head of state that we had to go on campus to carry the foreign press and the local press. So this gentleman, as I told you, and maybe he should speak in camera to protect himself, he was the one who was forcefully inducted into the armed forces of Liberia to cover that video, to hide the situation. Now I would like to make it clear that I said, and Mr. Krumah can testify, that from the video I saw that caused me to call Mr. Krumah to look at it, Minister Allison was reloading his pistol, this 45. And the Chief of Staff, Duba, was walking with his two hands swinging. So Duba was not in action on that video. He was simply walking by Allison. And Allison was pushing the cartridge into the pistol. So that gentleman who videotaped it is alive. I have just given his name to the commission. Find him where he is. He will tell you why they inducted him into the armed forces of Liberia overnight against his will.
Thank you. I want to take you back to Heron Swoop.
Yes, ma'am.
Following the lead from, you said that Heron Swoop carried a note to the station.
A press release to the news
agency.
Yes, ma'am.
Saying that the former president,
The head of state at that time.
the head of state at the time was corrupt,
Yes.
and he refused, or the institution refused to do it because of professional ethics.
We
Now my
refuse
question,
to carry it not because of professional ethics, because of administrative, procedural train or pattern of or established rules that the government had established from the time of President Tubman. You do not say anything about the president. You do not publish anything about the mansion or the presidency without the consent of that institution and with the participation of that institution.
okay, thank
So
you.
it's not there are no journalistic ethics about that. It's simply Liberian rules.
Okay, my question now is, Heron Swoop happened to be a member of PRC.
Yes.
And I understand that he was one of the youngest on the PRC.
Yes.
And then during the execution of Wesen, he was part of it.
Yes.
I just want you to, as being a public relation officer of the government at that time, can you tell us the circumstances relating to the execution of Wesen? What really happened?
Well, I will only explain to you what I observed, what I saw, and what I analyzed. Let's go back to April 12th, 1981. There were many persons in Liberia who have been saying that head of state Doe should not carry the title of Master Sergeant. And I believe the Chief of Staff Duba explained here that the military was saying that it was undermining military discipline. The Defense Minister Pearson also supported that view. I remember the Director General of the Liberian Broadcasting System, Ms. Olivia Shannon, also made a publication stating that for sake of discipline, those should not be Master Sergeant because all these other Master Sergeants were thinking that they were, there was a special privilege they had to violate the rules. And so preparations were made for Doe to become Master Sergeant, become Commander-in-Chief and Five-Star General on April 12, 1981, 1 year after the coup. Doe was supposed to be this 5 star. But there were rumors that became confirmed information that the people in the PRC felt that if Doe become the 5 star person, he could go out of hand. So the PRC, especially Westside and some of his colleagues, objected to that situation in my own thinking. By then, I was working with the New Liberian newspaper. And I was also associated with the executive mansion in writing speeches and position papers for the head of state through the office of Mr. Willie Givings, who was the Deputy Minister for Public Affairs. As I told you, because of my writing skills in speech writing and other things, I have written speeches for heads of states of Liberia. I was called to the mansion. I got involved. Now, all of these things, people might wonder, how come Bowier was in all these things? Because everybody was calling me to do something. And I couldn't say no. I went along. I was called to the mansion by Willie Givings to write the acceptance speech of head of state Doe when they make him the 5 star general. So we're at the mansion there making the preparation for the speech. They sent for some food. We got through eating. We started drafting the speech. What will we say? When we got halfway, the bell rung from the president's office, from the head of state office, and Willie Givings, who is still alive, went back into the head of state's office, and when he came out, he said, "Gentlemen, the whole thing over." So what happened? Well, there are some people in the PRC opposed to Doe becoming 5 star general, and so Doe is angry and saying, "Okay, send it to him, so he doesn't want to be no 5 star general again." But we have already announced publicly that Doe is going to be made 5 star general. How can we now say it will not happen? What explanation can we give? So I told Givings, I said, "Look, you know what happened? Just, there was a gentleman called Joseph Sogba Morris, very brilliant man from Sino County. When I was interim leader of the student council on campus, I appointed him as the chairman of my constitutional committee to redraft the constitution of the student council from Sino County. Later on, Doe appointed his own chairman for Sino County too. Well, what I want to tell you is that Super Morris and I were working on the speech, and I said, "Mr. Givings, you have come to change the whole program, so what I would suggest to you, give Super Morris and myself some money, let's go to Diner Restaurant and have a chicken dinner. When we come back, I will come with a solution to your problem." He said, "Okay, give us the money." We drove to Diner Restaurant, ate some food. Diner Restaurant on Broad Street at that time, that's Center Street. And we got back, and I said, "I got a solution to the problem." He said, "What's the solution?" We said the Defense Minister Pearson will read a speech he had already written calling on President Doe to come forward and be made 5 star general. He will read the exact speech that he has prepared. Doe, on the other hand, will get up there and read a speech that I'm about to draft. And that speech will say that as far as he's concerned, position doesn't matter. It is what he can do to develop this country that matters. And therefore, he refuses to become a 5 star general. He will remain a master sergeant because the master sergeant is a symbol of the revolution. And you remember the chief of staff repeated that here. That's where it came from. It came from me. I can go through Liberian history